Now, Ken Livingstone revealed another election pledge this week to help families with the cost of childcare. He promised grants and loans to people on low incomes and to fund more out-of-hours places at nurseries. It would cost, he said, about £3.5 million a year. Ed Miliband was out with him this week. We asked the Labour leader whether it was not much more than a gesture.
Well, I don't think helping people with affordable childcare is a bribe. I think it is recognising the severe costs of childcare in London, and it's finding ways of helping people into work. That's good for them, it's good for our whole community. And look, it's the difference between a candidate in touch and a candidate out of touch. That's the difference between Ken Livingstone and Boris Johnson.
Ed Miliband. Sarah Teller, the minister responsible here, would you accept the characterisation of this as a childcare crisis in the capital?
Well, the problem with Ken Livingstone's proposal is there's actually nothing concrete there. I mean, if he were actually doing something concrete, I would say, well, fantastic, you know, somebody's actually coming forward with, you know, a new idea that's into the debate, but there's nothing concrete there at all. And
he says 1,200 families, doesn't seem like very many, but would get grants of up to £700. They'd also get interest-free loans if they needed to pay for registration of childcare.
It's not quite what he said. I think he said he'd have a conversation with somebody and maybe he might be able to deliver it possibly. In comparison, what the government is doing is by 2013, 26,000 two-year-olds will get 15 hours of free nursery care. Now, that's concrete and it's real, and that's in addition to the 200,000 3- and 4-year-olds who are already getting 15 hours of early education because of decisions that I've taken inside the government. Now, this is a priority for the government, and we do recognise that there is enormous pressure on families, but the government is rolling out the largest increase in early education that any government has ever tried to do before.
Sadly, isn't the truth that the evidence is that people aren't taking up those places in London? 75% take up of those free places that you may be providing, compared to, say, 86% across the country, because they don't work for those people. They're not flexible enough. It's only 15 hours. Doesn't enable them to get back to work.
That's not quite the reason why some people aren't taking those places up. I mean, there are some particular issues about attracting sometimes families who are disengaged with forms of education and making sure that the offer is both known to them and attractive to them, and making sure that there's high quality places.
So you're failing to get it across if it's available for them then?
No, I don't think that's true. But I think we do need to do a lot more to make sure that those from the most disadvantaged families take up that offer. And at the moment, the evidence suggests that it is those families who aren't always taking that up. But getting them involved earlier and making that offer right from 2 will help to make sure that they are in early education right the way through. And that will make a huge difference to them when they begin school.
Darren Johnson, what could the Greens, what could we afford when we take out the pledges that you would make in terms of the environment, which would cost a huge amount of money? Not much money left to help fund childcare places.
Well, Sarah said she wanted to hear concrete pledges, and that the Greens and Jenny Jones, our mayoral candidate, have made some very concrete pledges on this. We want to work with all schools across London to ensure that we have breakfast clubs, to ensure that there are extended school opening hours and so on, and that is a really practical way that the mayor can work with schools right across London in an affordable way. And I think these things are affordable, but unlike Ken Livingstone, we have got properly costed plans for our manifesto. We want to reduce fares, but we're making very clear that the motorists will pay additional charges. We are saying where the money is going to come from.